Hello and welcome back to the video tutorial series for the Findlay Phone Wallet. I'm Susanna from Hold It Right There Sewing Patterns. In this second video in the series, I will walk through the unique features of the sewing pattern and the steps to prepare your fabric and interfacing. This sewing pattern is available on my website, linked below. Once you've gathered your supplies that I covered previously in my first video, we're ready to begin. First things first, when printing, be sure to first save your PDF file and then print from that saved file. Printing directly from the download without saving can cause you printing errors. Before printing the entire pattern, print a single page with a 1-inch test square and measure it to ensure accuracy. Be sure to print at 100% landscape orientation and do not scale or resize. There is just one pattern piece that does need to be assembled, and that is the strap H piece. Apply glue where indicated and then attach the pieces at the dotted lines. There are two options for cutting out the pieces for the sewing pattern. You can use the pattern pieces provided, or you can follow the cutting chart on page 12. This chart provides the dimensions and designates which interfacing and which fabrics belong to which pieces. It is also a handy checklist for your project too. So the cutting chart can be used in place of the printed patterns, as I mentioned. And to do this, you'll follow the dimensions using a rotary cutter, ruler, and cutting mat. With your pieces cut out according to the cutting chart, you will need to add the curves on some pieces. To do so, print one pattern piece, such as panel back exterior A, and then use it as a template to then cut the curved bottom corners where applicable. A few notes about the pattern piece markings. You will follow the solid lines marked for fabric and either the solid or dashed lines indicated for interfacing to cut out all fabric, interfacing, and stabilizer if you're using the pattern pieces. Some interfacing and stabilizer pieces are smaller than the fabric, and this is to reduce bulk in the seam allowances. If you are planning to fussy cut your fabric, I wanted to point out a couple of pattern pieces you may find helpful. So pattern piece D, the slip pocket, there is a shaded area that shows which part of the fabric will show on your finished wallet. And you can see it's a fairly small area. The flap pattern piece also has a shaded area to again show you what part of the flap will show on your finished wallet. And there's quite a bit that isn't shown, which is the unshaded portion. Once you have all of your fabric and interfacing cut out, you can keep your pieces organized with the labels provided on page 13. From your 2x2 inch piece of ultra firm stabilizer, you will need to cut it into 4 1-inch squares for either your magnetic snaps or heavy duty snaps. When you have all of your fabric and interfacing pieces cut out, you're ready to fuse the interfacing, and I will walk you through this step 2 on page 3 now. Set aside the fabric and interfacing for card slot C. This will be interfaced later as instructed. You'll need the fabric and interfacing for panel back exterior A and lining A, panel front exterior top B1, and panel front bottom B2, slip pocket D, and flap E. Place the fabric pieces wrong side up. The woven interfacing is the same size as the fabric. Fuse the interfacing to the wrong side of the fabric following manufacturer's instructions. After you've fused the interfacing to the rest of this group of fabric pieces, set aside lining A, panel front bottom B2, slip pocket D, and flap E. You will now need the second, smaller layer of woven interfacing for panel back exterior A and panel front top B1. Place your fabric wrong side up, with the second piece of interfacing centered along the top edge. Layer it over the previously fused interfacing. Fuse as before, then repeat with that second smaller piece of interfacing, and you're going to fuse it in the same way to the B1 piece. And the purpose of the second bit of interfacing is to reinforce the zipper. It is kept out of the side and bottom seam allowances to minimize bulk, but gives stability to the zipper. Set aside these pieces for now. Locate the fabric and interfacing for D-ring connector G and strap H. I'm going to begin with the G piece. Place it wrong side up, center the interfacing on the wrong side, and there will be a frame of fabric without interfacing. Fuse the interfacing and then set aside the D-ring connector for now. Strap H is done in the same way. You'll place the fabric wrong side up and layer a strip of interfacing over the wrong side, centering it so that there is a 1/2 inch frame all the way around the interfacing, and fuse as you've done before. And then layer the second strip of interfacing directly over the previously fused interfacing so that you have 2 layers of interfacing, one on top of the other, and fuse that. Then set aside strap H for now. This last step is optional. For extra cushioning on the back of the pouch side of the wallet, fusible fleece can be added to panel back exterior A. So for this option, you will place the fabric wrong side up, center the fusible fleece on top of the panel layered over the previously fused interfacings, and there will be a 1/2 inch frame without the fusible fleece to reduce bulk in the seam allowances. Set aside panel back exterior A for now. All of our pieces are prepped and ready to go. Join me in the next video where we will make the flap and install the snaps. Thanks for watching. Happy sewing!